we've always appreciated life and appreciated, just being able to share what we have, because, sometimes we take it for granted where we live, because, it's such a beautiful place. And hopefully we can portray that to those who do come, then they would appreciate it even more.
That's a clip from today's interview with Chris Kamaka. Chris is the production manager at Kamaka Ukulele. Early this year in January, I had a chance to sit down with Chris in Anaheim, California, out of all places. Kamaka Ukulele was at the NAMM show, and the NAMM show is a music convention that happens once a year. And it's where all the different vendors and artists come together to network and to see the kind of the latest and greatest out of all these amazing vendors. And Kamaka Ukulele happens to be one of those vendors. And we had some time together in the lobby at the Hilton at the convention center in Anaheim. And it was such a great time. For me personally, it was great to sit down with Chris and hear about the story of Kamaka and how they started. This is a true story of a family business started out of love and passion for music and for crafting an amazing instrument. So I hope you enjoy today's conversation with Chris, all about how Kamaka Ukulele started, where they're at, and what the future holds. So stay tuned for this one. It's going to be fun. Let's go.
Aloha, welcome to Hawaii's Best Travel Podcast, where we help you prepare for your next trip to Hawaii. Discover the experiences, businesses, and stories that make Hawaii the Aloha state. And now, your host, Bryan Murphy.
With Trans-Pacific travel opening up in Hawaii come August 1st, and if you haven't heard the news, it is opening up, but there's an asterisk on the opening up. And it's basically, if you can show proof of a negative COVID testing 3 days before your travel getting on a plane to Hawaii, you can avoid the state's 14-day mandatory quarantine. If that's news to you, or if you want more information about what that all means and what travel is going to look like come August 1st, you can find all of that at hawaiisbesttravel.com/episode 32. And in that, I also included a blog post which went into detail and showed even some of the governor's announcement on what to expect come August 1st. And as details begin to unfold, I will give those to you. There isn't much to report as of today, June 30th, 2020. But as they do unfold, I will be sure to relay those to you. But I hope you're excited with that news that, yes, Hawaii is opening up to Trans-Pacific travel. And obviously, it's going to look a little different. But once you're on island and once you jump through all the hoops, you're still in Hawaii. It's probably better than any other place in the entire world. So thanks so much for joining me today on episode 33, where we're talking with Chris Kamaka from Kamaka Ukulele. And for me, this has been an episode that I've been wanting to release for quite some time. And just with the pandemic and everything, it didn't seem like the right time to do that. And honestly, I just didn't know what to say or how to set it up. But this episode for me, that was recorded back earlier this year in January in Anaheim, which is about 20 minutes from where I'm at, was it was a personal interview for me, because at the time of this recording, this was the very first weekend after I had recently resigned my job of a pastor that I had been working at a church for 20 years. And I've since then have gone full-time into Hawaii's Best and also into my podcast production company. And I know I haven't been super open about, me personally here on the podcast, but for me, I just felt like it's important for you to know some context into this interview. We talk so much about the history of Kamaka Ukulele, but what was kind of behind the scenes for me was very emotional and a very raw and new experience, because as I was editing this interview with Chris Kamaka, I just kind of went back to that place of, wow, this was like the very first Sunday after I had resigned, gone full time in this thing. So it's pretty surreal to look back and have it be 6 months from that time of recording. So just want to give a little context to you. And Chris and I, we talk shop a little bit. I've grown up in music. In my past life, I was a music producer, music director. It's in my blood. My mom raised me right, raised me on some good music, and I've been playing guitar for many years. And since this recording, I asked Chris a few questions about how to pick up the right ukulele and what to know. And since then, I've purchased an ukulele and have been kind of self-teaching myself a few songs, and it's so relaxing. So if you have any interest in picking up the ukulele, it's such a great instrument to learn. It's fairly easy to start off on, and it's so relaxing. It's an instrument you can take pretty much anywhere you go. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to head on over and we're going to talk story with Chris, and we're going to hear more about the history of the ukulele, how Kamaka Ukulele started in Oahu, more about their family and what they're up to. So it's going to be a fun one. So let's go ahead and let's head on over. We're going to talk story with Chris from Kamaka Ukulele. All right, Chris, thank you so much for coming on Hawaii's Best. How are you doing today?
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we are in beautiful, sunny Anaheim. Nice and cool. It's like 50 degrees out.
It's a beautiful day. It's a nice change for us.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. So we're at NAM. And maybe for those who don't know what NAM's all about, and tell us a little bit, firstly, about yourself and your role at Kamaka, and then what's NAM? What are we doing here?
Well, here at NAM, it's the big annual show that we attend, and we feel that it's important to us because just to just to be here,
like a presence here,
have a presence, and just to see old friends, and make new friends, people that we do business with, and hopefully, future dealers, and get to know them, and that's important to us. And
so a lot of networking and relationships kind of get built.
It can
here.
get expensive,
Sure.
for us, but sometimes you got to look beyond the money thing, and just one-on-one and getting to know people is so important.
Right. Now, we were talking a little bit before we hit record. Our time at NAM goes back kind of similar, about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We used to attend LA convention when they had it there.
All right.
And you were attending there. And then
Yes.
Kamaka, you guys end up getting the booth. Maybe talk about the differences of attending and actually being a part, having a booth here.
Actually, when my brother Casey and I first went to the show in LA, we just wanted to see what it was all about.
Right.
And so we told ourselves, we really got to let people know that, we're still around. So we decided to join and have a small booth at the time, and since then we've grown, we doubled the size, but it's been such a good relationship with NAM, as well as all of our vendors and dealers.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Kamaka Ukulele, and what's your role there?
Well, I'm the production manager at the factory. I'm a third generation.
Wow.
My grandfather started it back in 1916. My cousin Fred is the office manager now. But since when my grandfather passed, my dad took over. And then eventually my uncle Fred came and helped with the business. My grandfather actually started it in the garage, as a hobby.
Oh, wow.
Building more like the pineapple shape. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
Right.
It's a shape that he designed. He was more interested in trying to experiment with sound, and it was a lot easier to bend rather than the traditional, figure eight instrument.
Oh, I see. Especially fabricating in the garage.
Yeah,
It's probably easier to...
So he just made it for a lot of our aunts and uncles who were professional entertainers, and it grew from there. He opened his first factory on South King Street.
Okay.
Eventually, he had to move everything down to our farm on the west side, ʻIole, because they were widening King Street at the time. So then my dad was away at school. He was studying to be an entomologist.
Okay.
He was working on his PhD.
Wow.
And he got the call that my grandfather was sick. So he came home, stopped everything, took care of dad for about a year until he passed, and decided, wow, what should I do with all of this equipment? And he went to the libraries and did a lot of research and eventually said, okay, let's go for it. I'll try it. And it's ever since, we've moved to our original factory where we are now in 59. From there, the rest is history.
Right. So back to the garage.
Yeah.
What was your grandfather doing as he was kind of tinkering away, creating ukuleles?
Well, he was involved with a lot of stuff. He loved to farm.
Okay.
And where we reside now in Kaneohe was he used to grow flowers and fruit trees.
Uh-huh.
And he was a musician also. So he was a guitar player, bass player, and just always was involved with music. And, when the music was always in the family.
Right.
So that's where we started, just kind of fooling around. And there were other ukulele makers. Well, not many, but this Manuel Nunes was the original manufacturer of ukuleles in the islands. He came over on the early Ravenscraig and the ships, all the immigrants coming over to work in the fields. He used to frequent Mr. Nunes' shop.
Your grandfather?
Yeah. And really got interested and just started branching off on his own, just making the pineapple ukuleles. And he made guitars too.
Oh, okay.
So it was...
6-string?
6-string guitars,
okay.
yeah. And we see some floating around once in a while, and it's really nice to see.
That's neat, I bet.
Yeah.
So what was it? Was it seen in your father, kind of this love and passion for the family business? Or,
for me?
Yeah. How did that grow in you?
Yeah. Well, we grew up with it. So I'm the eldest of 7.
Okay.
So
7?
7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 2 brothers and 4 sisters.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've always had instruments, around the house.
Okay.
And whenever we had family gatherings, everybody would be playing music.
Yeah.
It was always fun, always a fun instrument. And what I like to show people, when like customers just, the instrument is fun and you should really enjoy playing it. Like what I try and do is when people pick up our instrument, I want to get it to where they don't want to put it down. It's comfortable for them to play and
as a musician too, I've been playing. I grew up playing my mom's guitar, 6-string. She used to play in the church band, and I found it in the attic. And I got a bug, and it just becomes a part of who you are, really, like an extension. And I bet you find that right, ukulele or whatever, it just becomes a part of who you are, really.
It's funny you say that because my dad used to help out at the church. We called ourselves the God Squad.
The God Squad?
Yeah,
there's a story.
Just a bunch of kids playing ukuleles, during the mass, and he would be there every morning early getting all the ukuleles tuned up. And it was fun to be a part of,
That's neat.
Good memories.
Yeah. As time goes on, tell us a little bit about Ho'okena and your role there. And that was back 86 or something?
Back in the 80s, we first started playing music. We just got together to be in this vocal competition, which was all acoustic, and it was done at the university. We sang the song Ho'okena, and we won. So we won a prize, and and we decided to keep that name as a group. And so through the years, we started with 5, and then we went to 4, and it evolved to the 3 of us now, which has been really cool because we've been nominated for Grammys throughout the years.
Right.
We've been nominated 3 times, but this last time was the 60th anniversary of the Grammys, and we were able to attend in New York.
Yeah. And
we didn't win, but we had such a blast.
Oh, I bet that was an experience.
Everything was close. It was cold like hell, but it was a good experience. But then we've been very fortunate and blessed to play at Carnegie Hall a couple times, some beautiful theaters throughout the world, and just sharing our music and especially in Japan, they really enjoy the hula. And the Hawaiian music. They love the culture, and we've been fortunate enough to travel there. And it's just been fun.
You guys recently came out with an album.
Yeah, our latest album was the one that was nominated for a Grammy. And
so are you guys still touring that extensively? Or?
Yeah, actually, this year we're going to be going maybe 2 or 3 times this year to Japan.
Okay. So if someone, hypothetically, myself, is interested in picking up ukulele, I played 6-string all my life, basically. What advice would you give someone who's interested in learning the instrument?
You've played 6-string guitar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, if you play guitar, the ukulele is a really simple instrument, to pick up. Even if you don't play guitar, I mean, you can do so much with just a few chords,
right.
And it's a fun instrument. You can take it wherever you want. It's not like carrying your piano or something around, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun. That's why I try and portray it.
What would you recommend? I mean, there's different types. Maybe people don't know. There's different types of ukulele. I mean, you got the soprano, the tenor. What would you recommend?
Yeah, I have the soprano, which is the smallest, and then the concert or the alto. That one you can always distinguish from all the rest because all the other models have a crown head. The concert has what we call a sail head. So my dad actually designed it after the old Polynesian sails.
Oh, cool.
You get the soprano or standard. Then you have the concert or alto. And then the tenor, which is probably the most popular as far as musicians.
So when you think about the ukulele sound, I mean, that's typically what you think of, the tenor? Is that?
As far as...
Quote, the sound of the...
Yeah, the sound and the size.
Right.
Or even some of them like the baritone too, because they like that, which is the top 4 strings of the guitar. So sometimes it's a little easier for those that play guitar to pick up the baritone. Those are the 4 basic models. And then we have variations on all the different sizes, like a 6-string. Same idea as a 12-string guitar, but with octaves. So it really depends personally what their interests are and what they're looking for.
Well, what about you?
Me?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
The first ukulele I made was an 8-string.
Okay.
I still have it. Unfortunately, I don't play it too often because my good friend sat on it. One of my... So
we can laugh about it now, right?
Yeah, I can laugh about it now, but... I got it repaired.
Yeah.
But it never was the same
since
then. But in my band, I play the upright bass.
Right.
So it's not that I need it, but I still have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone's on an island, you guys offer tours as well.
Yeah.
Kind of walk us through what can someone expect or experience during that tour?
Okay. So a lot of people enjoy coming to the shop. Usually our tours run from Tuesday through Friday, every day during the week except Monday at 10:30. So my uncle Fred usually does the first half. He does all the history and stuff. Now my uncle is 95.
Wow.
He still enjoys doing it.
Bet.
He just comes in and they live right up the street from me. So comes in with my aunt. My aunt drives him in, does the tour, then he goes home.
That's incredible. Keeps him sharp.
But he looks forward to that,
That's neat.
And I'm glad he still enjoys doing it. We've got people from all over the world that come in on tour, and sometimes it's just maybe a group of 1 or 2, and sometimes it can be a group of 50 or more. But if it is big groups like that, we try and split it in half because our office is only so big.
Sure. Do you need reservations to come?
It would be good to call if you have a bigger...
In case you have, if you're expecting a bigger group.
But if it's just a couple of you, that's no problem.
That's Honolulu or?
Right in Honolulu, 550 South Street.
Okay.
It's right downtown in the municipal area. Yeah.
That's incredible. So now kind of coming back to NAMM, we're sitting here and there's tons of vendors here and they're kind of highlighting what's new and what's next. But what about you guys? What about Kamaka? What are you guys excited about?
Well, we try and introduce something new every year. We kind of did the same instrument this year as last year, but kind of tweaked it a little bit. We have our Jake signature model.
Uh-huh.
What we have on the fingerboard is a decorative inlay with kumu, the kumu. Or it's actually the favorite fish of Jake's because he does a lot of diving and fishing.
Yeah.
So he wanted to have that fish on his fingerboard. So we got that made by our friends at Pearlworks, who does all of our inlays. They're located over in Maryland.
Yeah.
But Bill is a good friend of ours, and he's the new CEO over there for ProWorks, and a great guy to work with. My son Christopher actually did all of the work on the particular one that we're showcasing, and he did a great job.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with the amount of time he had.
Yeah.
Every night we usually procrastinate,
It's
about
coming.
getting stuff done, and then it's always fun though towards the end. Hey, we got to get it done.
Yeah, it comes together.
And he did it. Yeah, it came together great. Beautifully.
Yeah. And that's at the booth?
That's at the booth. It's in our little
excited.
showcase
I'll check it
there.
out.
Yeah, come over.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Now with manufacturing ukuleles, there's different types of woods to choose from. You hear a lot about koa, but maybe talk a little bit about the different types of woods and why it matters in manufacturing.
Like with us, I guess the premier wood, of course, is koa, right. Because it's found in the islands, and most of our customers request that. But there are others that want to have something a little different. So we do offer like a spruce top or even cedar tops, right. Redwood tops, different types of tops, or even different woods for the body, such as rosewood and a mahogany. But primarily koa, which everybody requests. And we use mahogany on our necks because it's a lot more consistent as far as the grain, for the instruments. And we use rosewood on our fingerboards, as well as ebony for our higher end instruments. Rosewood and ebony fingerboards, as well as the bridges. Yeah.
I'm sure with koa, a lot of the factor plays into just resources and being on island.
Yeah.
But also affects the sound too. So in your mind, when you're thinking about resourcing on island and thinking about the sound of the ook, what comes first in your mind?
Oh, yeah, definitely the sound. Koa has always been a beautiful wood.
Yeah.
So it's important to us to find the best pieces for the body. If you have a nice ornate piece, it's just a plus too. Like the curly koa is always requested as far as for most of our instruments, but we try, as we get into the higher grade ones, it's more for our, fancier models, our specials. But the sound is the main thing. Grandpa always told us that if you can maintain, consistent sound and have, good quality material as well as hardware and finish and good craftsmanship, then you should have no problem.
Great.
So we try and maintain the course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hawaii's Best is about visitors coming to the island, maybe for the first time, or they come year after year, and we get to hear the story behind amazing companies like you guys. But if someone's coming to the islands for the first time, in your opinion, what is something that you would want to relate about what to expect coming to Hawaii, or just in general, what to know about Hawaiian culture?
Well, I guess first timers coming to the islands, Hawaii has always been about aloha, and just opening up oneself or one's arms and greeting them, because we've always appreciated life and appreciated, just being able to share what we have, because, sometimes we take it for granted where we live, because, it's such a beautiful place. And hopefully we can portray that to those who do come, then they would appreciate it even more.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure.
How can people find more about you and Kamaka?
Well, Kamaka, we're at 550 South Street in Honolulu. Our website is kamakahawaii.com. Phone number 531-3165, area code 808.
Yeah.
And feel free to come into the shop. We'd love to show people what we're all about. As far as musically, we play at the Outrigger Reef Hotel in Waikiki every Saturday night.
Yeah.
From 6 to 9. We're usually there unless we're at shows like this, or performing somewhere. But life's too short, and we just try and go day by day and enjoy,
Love that.
God willing,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Bryan. It was nice meeting you.
You as well. Yeah. Aloha.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that history of Kamaka Ukulele, how they started. Maybe you got the bug to pick up an ukulele and strum it and to learn. So you can go to kamakahawaii.com to learn more about their products. And I'll also link this up in the show notes so you don't have to remember all this information. But the easiest way just to get all the information about Kamaka Ukulele is go to hawaiisbesttravel.com, episode 33. Thanks again for joining us today. And like I mentioned at the start of this episode, we're going to keep you up to date about travel into Hawaii, what to know, what to expect come August 1st. We're about 30 days away from that. And as the details unfold, I'll give those to you. Best way to kind of stay up to date on all those details is just simply hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. So I just want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate just your time for tuning in today. And I hope you continue to stay safe. And until next time, be well. Aloha.
Thanks for listening to Hawaii's Best Travel Podcast. To stay up to date on future episodes, be sure to subscribe. For more information to help you plan your next trip to Hawaii, visit hawaiisbesttravel.com.